Welcome to another episode of Author Transformation Stories. This is Bathla, author of 20 plus books and a founder of Author Freedom Hub, where we write, publish, and market our books independently. And in this today's episode, we have with us Ganesh Mandadi. He is a really inspirational story, I could say that, because at the age of when he was in 8th standard, he had to drop his studies, and then after 7 years of gap, he then did his graduation, then MBA, and he has worked for 17 years in very wonderful companies like Oracle, HP, and UAE Exchange. And now he is a motivational speaker, author, and a philanthropist, and so many more things he's doing. So welcome, Ganesh, to the show.
Thank you, Som. Actually, it's really pleasure and it's my privilege to be part of your show. I'm really delighted.
Wonderful. So Ganesh joined our community, Author Freedom Hub, in the month of September 2020.
That's true.
And he had written his wonderful book, Your Life Graduation, recently in October 21. So precisely this book is all about 10 aspects of life he has taken into, and he has explained in very detail. So we'll talk about his book in greater detail. So Ganesh, let's get started with the discussion. And why don't you briefly tell about your journey from beginning till so far, and so then I will get into what inspired you to write. So just briefly tell about your journey, because I just touched about a little bit about your journey. Just talk about that.
Definitely. Thanks for the privilege as well. So this is Ganesh Mandadi. So I'm basically like my life journey span from a difficult childhood, as Som said, because of prolonged distress in my family, financial distress. I was compelled to drop out from the school, and 7 years I had a gap, and those 7 years I was pursuing full-time farming, basically in a village, remote village from Hyderabad suburbs. So we were making daily ends meet. And during the end of 5th year, I saw a paper ad, like 2 inches paper ad. So whether you're 10th class pass or fail, you can you can pursue BA, become BSc with 18 years eligibility of age and entrance exam, which is a correspondence distance education. Then I just, I got an idea, I need to be a graduate in life. I didn't have any dreams of, getting into professional world or reconnecting to academic world, basically. So just for the sake of graduation, I applied for that through a distance education. Like I completed year on year, by reading model papers and directly writing exams in the center. So after completing my 3rd year, so I got an idea, why not I pursue a regular, post graduation so that I can reconnect. So by the time, my family distress got settled to an extent. So I've done my MBA with all difficulties, with sponsors from my, extended family, with some loans. So I managed to get done my MBA. And during my MBA days, I was like, it was like an obsession for me. I never used to MBA days were my defining years, 2 years. So from first week, I was giving my seminars. My first seminar was like a very big disaster. I shivered and I couldn't speak. I couldn't utter a few words. I didn't sleep that night. So after 2 days, again, I approached my professor, for getting a new topic. So I made better in the next version. In a month's time, I became a good speaker. I mean, reasonably. Then I, MBA was truly defining. It's very quite disciplined college. In fact, in Chennai, it is affiliated to Madras University, Sairam Institute of Engineering, Sairam Institute of Management Studies. Well disciplined, and that was a blessing for me. So all my friends, colleagues, everyone was creeping and crying for discipline, but that was really deserving for me. So I got some national awards. I used to participate in different colleges, events. The noted one key among them was Tidal Park's MMA, Madras Management Association, which was very prestigious in Tidal Park. In 2002, I got a prize, first prize there, which was published in papers. I got awards from there. I participated in Coimbatore in different parts of Tamil Nadu and Bangalore. So these are confidence boosters, basically. The reason why I'm sharing these things is those 2 years were turning point in my career. So by the time I completed my MBA, I got my first job. I was the first person to get a job in MNC without any placements, basically, on my own. Oh. So from there, I had a very successful, highly rewarding corporate career. I don't want to touch on that because everyone is seeing corporate career. So basically, since I was depriving in my childhood, those struggles, I was always curious about to unfold the underlying factors. What is the factors behind successful people? What drives successful people? Why people are happy, and what makes them successful? There was an obsession behind me, so I always used to chase that. I couldn't get that answer that easily, but I was hunting. So when I was in UAE exchange, I like in 1.5 year, I got promoted as regional head for 11 states from the branch head. I was enjoying, in the peak. So whenever I'm a peak performer, I used to switch the companies and I used to switch even the locations across the countries. Like, I worked in 10 countries.
Yeah.
It was in the hunt of fulfillment, life fulfillment. It is not like I was like not performing. In fact, I was like a peak performer among my peer groups. Increments and promotions never an issue for me. They always surprised me, but because of life fulfillment. So it happened. So after 7 years, 17 years, finally I realized my life purpose and life meaning. I took a courage to quit my corporate job. I returned back to India permanently. I started my business as an entrepreneur. I started my entrepreneur journey, and I had a huge setback. First 1.5 year, I struggled like anything. I burnt huge money in CRs basically. That's a huge amount. So my life savings, obviously. I mean, like, and I'm a follower and believer of Warren Buffett. Never park all your in a single basket. I followed, I sustained. Otherwise, I would have been bankrupt by this time.
Yeah.
So almost 25% of my net worth, I took it. It's a calculated risk, but it's a huge learning. The 2 years of entrepreneurship journey really transformed me basically in terms of experience. So during COVID, the pandemic, writing a book was my a decades-old dream. It was my subconscious mind. It never, came surfaced outside. During COVID pandemic, my entire family tested positive for COVID in 2020 June in the first phase, basically.
Okay.
So I was like, we all sailed through the traumatic phases of our life. So that time, I've seen the world in a different perspective. I think all my priorities I need to fulfill. I think I need to look back and I just followed. And also my real transformation happened. What is the life fulfillment? So I've deep dived again in all self-help literature. I've gone through all the books. I connected all my, past experiences, the dots from my past experiences. I went through deep dive self-reflection, and your life graduation is a product of that, self-reflection, basically.
Yes, I think you showed the book to me earlier. So can you please wave that book here?
Yeah. This is a book, Your Life Graduation. This is all about.
Subtitle is attractive. Can you please read that? Subtitle is the
make heaven out of your living else. Your life graduation is all about making heaven out of your living else, because everyone, there is no exception of rich or poor or literate or illiterate, male or female or ethnicity or creed. Everyone is subject to this. Basically, we all go through some emotional trauma. Some deprive in basic life essentials, like poor people deprive in basic life essentials, like rich people, they suffer emotionally, socially, in relationships or in different forms, but everyone is subject to this. So basically your life graduation is all about attaining basic mastery in the 10 key fulfillment empires. If you see, profession is one among them. Normally everyone feels family and profession, or at most social life, but there are only 3 parts of life graduation. Basically, it is about true life fulfillment and contentment. If anyone
can
wants,
you please broadly explain what are the 10? You are saying 10 aspects.
Yes.
10 aspects, and you are saying 3 categories you can divide them into, right?
No, not 3 categories, not 10 categories. Everything is equally important. So every 10 fulfillment is equally important, like all. I'll start from the basic one. The first one is about right mindset, which is a basic foundation for remaining 9 fulfillment empires. Right mindset is all about, it's about, a perspective towards life. It's an empowering mindset. Normally, we are driven with our belief system, our limitations, and, it's quite familiar. We have seen a lot of books in self-help literature, the power of subconscious mind, a lot of other.
Correct.
Right mindset is something like very unique to every person. The uniqueness about here is like, the mindset, what suits for me may not suit for Som or, for anybody else, because we all have a different life purpose or life meaning, and we are unique species. So it is all about finding our own right mindset, empowering mindset, and, busting our myths, our, limiting behaviors, and enriching our mindset.
And you have practically lived that, because starting with a very financially distressed background and then leaving this, quitting the studies and starting again, you must have gone through all this topsy-turvy journey of understanding the life in a very difficult phase and taking lessons. So having the right mindset at that point of time, and you have lived all that stuff, right?
Exactly. So last 2 decades I've been living. Otherwise, it's very difficult to excel in our life journey. I mean, even if we excel, we don't sustain it normally. Right mindset is not only for, enhancing our career, but also to sustaining it also. That's also important. This is about first fulfillment empire. Everyone has to conquer the right mindset, which is the base foundation. Second one is about personal set. It is not about enhancing our professional skills or personal development. It is much beyond that. It is about unfolding our life purpose, our life meaning. It's all about discovering our personal vision and mission. Normally, we are quite familiar with our professional vision, like corporate vision or whatever, but everyone undermines our own personal vision. Our corporate vision is a subset of our personal visions. Personal vision is really a superset. What if your corporate vision doesn't align with your personal vision? So we end up with, again, depriving state. Basically, we don't feel happy after attaining our destination. We feel, I think we landed in the wrong destination. So it's all about unfolding our life purpose, and obviously it is enriching our internal traits and extrinsic traits as a personality, like the how we speak, how we exhibit, how we resonate with others, how we perceive them, how we represent. So it's all about those things. This is about second one. So in a way, right mindset is a foundation, and personal set is a pillars for rest remaining 8 fulfillment empires. The third fulfillment empire is about health set, where biologically 24/7, every second, every minute throughout our life journey, we live in our biological body. So it's our responsibility to nourish our not only biological body, our mental health, our emotional health, our spiritual health. It's about having sustainable fitness and maintaining sustainable health, right from nutrition perspective, right from your quality of breathing, the fitness overall, and it's about mental diet as well. It's about our health set, which is about third one. Awesome. So if you don't have a health, we don't have a presence on this, on this planet. I mean, profession, everything is secondary. Health is absolutely, in a way, in a way, it is a sequenced. Basically, all fulfillment tempers are in a logically sequenced. Everything is important as well. Fourth one is about our family set, because we are the fruits of our family roots, basically. So we carry our legacy. Basically, we are carrying the legacy, morals, values of our previous generation, and we need to pass on to our next generation. So we need to enrich them, basically. So it's all about nurturing our values, morals, and it is about owing to our selfless parents, because we are here. We need to owe to our selfless parents for selfless love, compassion, and kind. It is about the essence of good marriage, sustaining good marriages, because in this current era we are seeing a lot of divorces, unsuccessful marriages, because marriages are nucleus for society, basically, healthy society. If marriages are not sustaining, society will not sustain. It's about enriching our marriages life. Ill effects of unsuccessful marriages, which impacts to the couple, to the children, and to society, and for overall humanity. It is also about good parenting. Normally, like we are facing challenges a lot, in terms of when it comes to family life. So all are kind of tied up with profession and multiple things in this modern world. So it's also about good parenting. The family set speaks about 4 core pillars in all this. See, every fulfillment empire also structured into 4 pillars. So 10 empires, each one has 4 pillars. So in a way, 40 pillars are there in this book. So equally, like categorized and structured. The next,
how big is this book? How big is this book?
It is like quite big. Actually, my publisher, he was hesitant. Actually, it is too big. Can we make it 2 parts? It is 380 pages, and also like 1,45,000 words.
Awesome. So you started writing for after a long time back, or what? When did you start writing this?
Yeah, I started writing in after. So basically, I got a thought. I got introduced to SOM actually. Like, I'm really privileged. In September 2020, I enrolled into your Author Freedom program. So I got really my confidence got boosted, basically. Like decades old, my dream, it reignited. After hearing your words, and I thought, like it's not a big deal to write. But again, walking the talk is really difficult. Actually, I experienced it. I was a bit confident. Maybe I can finish it in 3 months. But in 3 months, I hardly completed 10% of my book. I was unable to progress it. So basically, I was looking for a deep dive research. It is not just expressing my feelings, intuition. It has to be supported with research. Your lab graduation is backed and supported with empirical studies and researches. And the messages from the best brains, and it has been complemented with all my life examples and my life experiences. It's all combination. And so if you allow me, like I'll take very short, like explaining remaining fulfillment.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
So we are in the 5th fulfillment empire now, which is about heart set, which is not about cardiovascular health or blood pressure. It is all about emotional health. It is about living our emotional health, enriching our emotional health, like to experience our emotions in a truest spirit then and there, without suppressing them or without postponing them for the future events. So whether it's a negative emotions or positive emotions, we need to experience in the 2A spirit, because emotional health supersedes all other health. Even your, nutrition, water-based nutrition we are in, water-based fitness we are in. If emotional health is not stable, if you are depriving in emotional health, then the other parts will get subsidized. So it's about the importance of emotional intelligence. The fulfillment empire is about our professional side, which is about bread and butter. It is not about just making our living. It is all about unleashing our truest potential, identifying our career path in align with our life purpose and our life meaning, and defining a compelling career path and unleashing our truest potential, whether we are an employee or self-employed or an entrepreneur, whichever we are in. Basically, the essence is about living our dream. It is about loving what we are doing or pursuing what we love.
Right.
So this is about the essence of personal side. And seventh one, financial side. Normally people don't correlate profession. They are always they always misconception and misconstrue that personal set, professional set is their financial set as well.
Correct.
Absolutely no, because there are a lot of high-time celebrities, wealthy people, they became bankrupt down the span. It is because they're lacking in financial side. Basically, the financial side speaks more about your financial literacy, your financial discipline. Without these two things, no one can sustain. We have seen in high-time celebrities, Hollywood stars, or even studies says the lottery winners, high-time lottery winners, down the span 3 to 5 years down the lane, they end up 70% of them end up in bankrupt. The only reason, including professional, highly accomplished, professionals as well. The reason is not due to lack of their commitment or skills in their profession. The reason is they lack financial literacy and financial. So financial set is all about the essence and embracing and mastering financial literacy. And it is also about pursuing financial freedom. Financial freedom is not a choice now; it is must. So it is subjective again. I spoke about on that on the YouTube channel. And it is also about the essence of multiple streams of income, which is also not a choice. We have seen in lockdown, the plight of people, those who are relying on a single income salaries or employ like a business.
Absolutely, yes.
In the current disruptive world, everyone should build, like 3-4, active and passive income sources, not overnight, maybe every 2 years. A person should plan to have a secondary, multiple streams of income. It is about financial side. And the eighth one is about social side. Social life is really important because so what we learn, we grow, and whatever we prosper right in society, whatever biggest achievements we have, if no one else to share, that achievement doesn't make any sense. So someone has to share our these things. And same thing, we need support. The support system, social support system is something. Even if I have $1 billion in my bank account, still I need to depend on society, because of course money is required to complete financial transaction with society, but that alone is not sufficient. So we get a lot of neurotransmitters, like the longevity, attached to our longevity, the healthiest people, those who survive longest life, it is not only due to diet, it is because their social life. And it is also essence of balanced social diet, similar to our nutritional diet. We should have a social connections in all walks of our life, in professional, in spiritual, in every era, in your neighborhood, wherever we go. I think in all aspects, in 10 fulfillment empires, in all facets, we need to have a social connection. And it's important to share, detoxify our toxic social connections, if it is not making, because life is too short, like of course we need to embrace generosity, compassion, but again we can't change others. We have to change ourselves. It's about detoxifying our disempowering connections and embracing our empowering connections in all aspects, in all walks. And the next one is about our spiritual side. Spiritual side is all about, it's not about any specific religion or faith. It is all about connecting with nature and the higher source. It is about living in the present instead of living in past struggles and anxieties, or about worrying about future anxieties. It is about living in most blissful state in the current time.
Correct.
And that's it. And the last one, and but not the least, philanthropic side, which gives the highest contentment and fulfillment in one's life emotionally. So it is really important, because we get a lot. Ganesh Mandadi is Ganesh Mandadi. After all struggles, I've attained certain, whatever small success or achievements, it's because of society, because of nature, because of family, because of everything. So it is not my moral responsibility. It is my obligation to give back in whichever format possible. So your life graduation is also part of my philanthropic vision, to strive and spread my little wisdom to everyone, to transform their lives towards their life fulfillment. So even, I do certain philanthropic activities. It's not about self-certifying, so it's not about self-portrayal.
Mm-hmm.
Even my father is a good philanthropist. I narrated in the book all our stories. In fact, our financial distress, the root cause, what society says, and even we also admit, it is because my father is too generous, kind, and philanthropic. So basically,
Wonderful.
that was one of the biggest reason why we struggle. But again, that is the reason again I grown. Basically, my father believes it always. So
Wonderful.
giving is receiving. I believe in that. So more importantly, in this book, I covered about indirect philanthropy, which is something like maybe I think very few are familiar with this. Indirect philanthropy is something like we are not doing any direct favor to anyone. We
Mm.
are doing our own stuff, our own things in responsible way without creating harm, or any damage to society or to nature or to environment. This is really
Wonderful.
important in indirect.
Wonderful.
So overall, it is about attaining basic life mastery in all those 10 life fulfillment empires. So to attain life graduation. And
Yes.
second thing, so actually it is not a one time, like our academic graduation, we got a certificate, convocation, it's over. It is not like that. We need to maintain and sustain it throughout our life. So every year,
Absolutely.
again, we need to do a self-assessment. In this book, conclusion chapter, right? I have a self-assessment. So
Mm.
every after completing the book, they need to do a self-assessment where they are standing, whether they are qualified in any fulfillment empires. It's of course self-assessment, confidential to them. So
Mm.
it's a mandatory, like
It's
no.
an annual certification program, right?
Yeah, similar to
Wonderful.
certificate.
So, Ganesh, I mean, it's a wonderful big book, and that's why, I mean, you very rightly quickly summed up what is covered in all the three, all the 10 aspects, and starting with the right mindset, then personal set, heart set, professional set, ending into spirituality and philanthropy. And you have personally in most areas lived this life, and that's why you are eligible to talk about these things. And I understand your perspective of not shortening into the shorter book, because I see in my community we promote like we can write book faster, but those books are shorter books. We can the book you have written, people could have written probably 4 5 books into that, in that number of words as a series. But
Mm.
yeah, it's a personal choice. But yes, wonderful, congratulations for compiling this whole masterpiece with your experience with empirical evidences. So talk about like when you are creating such kind of a masterpiece of your life's work, what kind of challenges people who are first time authors who want to create such kind of work in their life, authors face, and what how did you overcome those challenges, and any specific resources, things which helped you in finishing all this journey? Talk about that.
Yeah, definitely. There are two things basically. So we have a lot of stuff in our mind, right? We have a lot of ideas, but when it comes to author, right, we get standstill pass. Basically, we get stuck. It happened with me. I was so confident. I was telling my kids and my wife, I'll complete this book because I've already done research in 3 months. But it took 1 year, 2 months, almost 14 months, to publish.
Mm. Mm.
Because it is something like when we are putting in on paper, right? So it has to have a flow. It has like what helped me, right? I mean, it was really tough for me. I mean, now after completing after the way of writing the book, then I got used to it. Basically, that's a learning curve. Basically, I've accelerated. But most importantly, I've attended your sessions, like weekly sessions. I got motivated and inspired. People are publishing their books, and you are giving tips and techniques, and basically the boosters, the appetizers, what I could say. So I got those appetizers from you, and that really pushed me basically. Otherwise, even believe me, I had a strong desire to write a book, but after 3 months, I thought maybe I think I need to quit. This is not my cup of tea. I reached to that stage. It is not. It is not that I don't have like a will to write. I have contents in my mind. I have a will, but I'm unable to articulate on paper, like in a structured
Mm.
way.
Mm.
So finally, like it happened. I mean, like I need to thank you from my intuition, and really, I think you really transfer like inspired me, in completing my author journey. And definitely, I think it's case with me. Definitely, it happens with all other the thousands of people in your author freedom club. So credit goes to you. So actually, and this is one thing. Second thing, the other challenge is like. Uh, so basically publishing again, that was an issue. The second thing, even there also, that was like it made easy. Once I've gone through your sessions, I've gone through all the contents of your quotes. So basically it is like handholding in a way. So I'm thankful for that. Otherwise, like if I'm an isolated, it would have taken other couple years, or I may have given it up risk.
Mm-hmm.
But
Correct.
it happened finally, and thank you once again.
Wonderful. Yeah, precisely. Even most successful people, when it comes to writing a book, It is basically very a lonely journey when a person has to deal with himself, his own mindset, his own kind of thinking pattern. And writing a big book is something which is you need a longer period of motivation, and therefore the way we have structured the program, we meet on a weekly basis, we have a community platform at Telegram and society application, where at least we keep on seeing the people getting the results. So that at least pushes the people that okay, if that fellow can do it, then I can do it. And now your interview, when people are listening to, when they would listen that this gentleman has written 1,40,000 words book,
1,45,000 words.
1,45,000 words book, and if he can do it, then at least I can write 30,000 words book at least. So at least this is a, that's the objective of these sessions, these interviews, that one, you could talk about your book, secondly your author journey, which could inspire many more people.
Yeah.
Wonderful, great journey you have, Ganesh. So let me quickly ask you now that any specific habits, because writing a book is something which is a very long term commitment. In your case, it is longer term because it was a bigger book. So, any specific habits you developed which made this writing happen? Any specific traits over the period of writing you developed which are going to help you in the future in different endeavors of yours? Just talk about that.
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely. So basically, initially, like I didn't have any structure. Like, whenever I get a time, I used to go and think, but I wasn't productive. So I was like, introspecting, and I went for deep dive reflection. So I thought, like, identified my productive hours. So in my case, morning hours, like, around like 5:30, 5:45. So I start from there until 9 o'clock. So morning
Okay.
hours I spent, I used to sit in my backyard. So in my, backyard garden, like, those 3 hours basically were productive hours. So everyone has a productive hours. I recommend, to stick to that. And
Mm.
the other thing is, like, I get a lot of distractions with my work and in other family commitments. So I made it very clear, these 3 hours are my personal works, for author journey. So even I got limited, kind of interruptions and distractions. Even I used to keep my phone aside. Of course, I took my laptop. I didn't took pen and paper, but I typed in the laptop, and I also like supplemented with research. So during this process, like, I ended up also, there are around 80 to 90 quotes of my personal quotes, Ganesh Mandadi quotes in this book. I thought
Okay.
whether to convert them into quotes or not, but I thought, like, otherwise the book would have gone 2 lakh, 200,000 words. So I just
Okay.
compressed them into quotes. You will find it around 90 quotes, close to 85, 90
Mm.
quotes. So the productive was really helped me. And the other biggest concern I had is like the perfection. That bug
Okay.
was, that was the reason for the initial 6 months delay. I
That
was
is for most people. Most people think they need to be perfect in whatever they do.
Yeah. So what happened, right? The draft version I will sail through like that. Whatever it is, anyway, I'm coming back, right? So I'll see in the next round. So I was trying to compromise. I was trying to settle myself. It's okay if it is not perfect, let it go. Let's keep the key points and the basic structure. Then the second round it improved, and the third round, right? It was really like helpful. So I recommend to others as well. I think I've heard this. This is something not new, but again, even my real experience. So people get convinced by getting real time experiences from others. But definitely this message, the problem we are living it, right? We are living in an information age. We got wisdom everywhere, but only we realize when we get into action. So once we
Mm.
experience ourselves, right, so we don't realize that importance. So I've realized it basically, I should not get into a perfection. So it delayed 6 months of my author journey. But
Mm.
anyway, this is my experience. So others, they should not wait for perfection. I think first draft, I think they should go through and cover the entire high level context. The second
Yes.
time they can build, basically it is like building your core structure and pillars. You can do interiors later, basically.
Mm, wonderful. So you exactly followed the structure which I explained in the course material, because I said three draft formula.
Yes.
First draft is definitely you have to, there is a phrase called shitty first draft, which
Yeah.
you don't need to bother about that, because that means you are putting your content out on the paper, and then there is a second and third stage, and that
So,
gives a lot of confidence to people that at least they can refine their content in the
so
other two stages. Most people try to write their first draft as a masterpiece, which never happens.
that's true. Very much.
Yeah, wonderful, great. And the kind of you maintain discipline about keeping distractions away, and despite the busy schedule, you
Yes.
found some time which was fixed, some time which was important for finishing this book. Great, great lessons. And yes, let me now ask you,
Yeah.
if somebody who is just thinking for many years of writing a book
Mm-hmm.
and he's not getting started, what
Mm-hmm.
is one or two tips to you can he's thinking, this person is thinking, talk to that
Yeah.
person, he's thinking for writing a book, but he's somehow, due to whatever reasons, because you are thinking for many years and you
Just
took courage and started, what are the
okay.
few key things you want to tell to that person, so that after watching your interview, he
Mm.
should get started writing?
Yeah, definitely. And so actually, this is my intuition. Maybe this is out of syllabus, but I dare to share it
Sure,
basically.
sure, sure.
We need to realize we are not here to live for 10,000 years. We are here for a very short span.
Hmm.
So normally we assume like, yeah, we can do it next year, next month, next month. Next month never comes in our life. Honestly, it didn't happen for 10 years for me until something happened. Pandemic happened. It didn't happen. So everyone in their life, right? Sometime if pandemic didn't happen, maybe I don't know, like, my complete, I said like we all sail through a traumatic phase.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We recovered fortunately. So life is too short. I think we should not postpone important things. Whatever it is, your intuition, I think, we try to fulfill them in bits and pieces. It doesn't happen, but at least a small progress. Take a step, step by step, and at least like we can you can divide into a small portion. But we need to begin our journey. It doesn't
Hmm.
matter. We are you are moving slowly in your direction, but move in that direction.
Hmm.
Otherwise, like life is too short. I think we regret it on our deathbed. Even the spirituality says, not small things. Forget about book only. Even small things. We regret about a lot of things. And definitely, book is something you are going to leave your legacy and your footprints for the next generations. This is not something
Yes.
other thing. Like authoring a book, we never know, like the wisdom and that like intellectual skills, whatever is hiding, they need to be unlocked. Those are the treasures, and it has to be passed on to our next generations. So don't suppress them and don't look for a perfect time. There is no perfect time. Life is too short, and we need to live like in all spiritual, in spirituality we say we need to live like today is our last day. So to embrace our presence. So I
Yes.
think life is too short. We should start. I think we should not postpone. This is a message I would like to say from my intuition.
Wonderful. Your life graduation is all about that. You have to look at the 10 different empires, fulfillment empires of your life, and then keep taking action. And spirituality, philanthropy. In fact, writing a book is a sort of giving something back to society, the knowledge which you have gained from the experience. If you don't share that knowledge with the world, it is a kind of selfish thing that you kept that whole knowledge experience into your head and did not show up in the world. So wonderful. It was a great interacting with you, Ganesh. And let me just talk to the audience for a moment. Hey, my friend, if you're watching this interview so far and getting a lot of value bombs from Ganesh, so you too can become a writer the way in our community thousands of people are becoming, and the way Ganesh has written the book. So there is a link below to join my free webinar or some training link. So click on that and register for the webinar, and you too can join this bandwagon where thousands of people are aspiring, thriving in the author community. And if you are someone, and of course you are that person that you want to do life graduation, it's the yearly certification program by Ganesh, as he rightly said, all the 10 areas you need to master. So the link to the book of Ganesh is already in the description below. So click on that link and purchase that copy. And yeah, Ganesh, go ahead.
Yeah, the thing is like definitely it's an annual certification, but it is a self certification.
Yeah.
It's not a commercial. It is a life investment. Every year we need to sell. You see, I have attended the basic life mastery and all those 10 fulfillment of basic. I need to retain it. Maybe next year, if I'm collapsing in financial or spiritual or social life, I'm again ineligible, like
Hmm.
professional degree. Like I've done my CMA, PMP, where I need to renew every 2 years.
Hmm.
So continuous learning program, CPDs,
Yeah.
right? Here we
Yes.
have CLF, continuous, life fulfillment empire, CLF. So
Yeah.
we need to
Yes.
gain
Yes.
our own these things. So it is
Absolutely.
your own university. You are getting life graduated in your life in your own university. Like in
Hmm.
Ganesh Mandadi's university, I am certified. Like in Som's university, you are going to certify. So nobody is certifying you. Through authentic, you are going to certify yourself. So
Absolutely. Self
thank
certification program. Self certification program.
you.
Every year you have to, every now and then you have to look at which area you're lacking in your life and then keep on taking action that, because it's a never ending process. Life needs to keep improving and you need to keep taking care of all these areas. So wonderful links to your book, Ganesh. I'll be posting in the down below, and everybody can, you should buy, grab this copy. Wonderful big book. You'll be getting a lot of value out of it. And thank you so much, Ganesh, for sharing your valuable knowledge, wisdom, talking about your book. I know it was a short time. You have a lot to cover, but I think people have got the idea that what this book is all about. It's holistic book about improving the life's different areas. So I'll definitely give it a read, and very shortly. And thank you for being on the show. Before I let you go,
Yeah.
why don't you, whatever is coming to you in your mind as an intuition of talking to the audience, as a parting piece of advice, which everybody should follow in their life?
Yeah. So basically, I think you need to follow your intuition. Intuition is something which cannot be suppressed in the long run. Basically, you may suppress it in the short term. Just follow your intuition. Give a life to your intuition. Basically, whatever your intuition is there. If you don't give life, it get dead, and it never comes up. Follow your intuition, and I wish everyone all the success and life fulfillment. And I wish you all life graduate in your lives.
Wonderful, wonderful message. Thank you so much. And audience, I'll be back with the next round of interview with some other amazing personality. So click on the subscribe link, hit the notification bell so that you get notification of that. And thank you very much, Ganesh, once again.
Thank you, and wish you everyone again all the best.
Perfect.
Best. Yeah.